Hello. I'm going to talk a little bit now about a sense of thinking aloud for a child or a young person. In one of the other videos that I did, I spoke a little bit about transparency and thinking your own thoughts out loud to give the child a sense of security, that they're not trying to second guess what you're thinking. And now we're going to have a think about thinking aloud the thoughts and feelings of the child or young person. So we're making an assumption there that maybe the child is feeling a little bit jumbled up, a little bit chaotic perhaps in their head, and they need us to support them to make sense of their thoughts and feelings. And by doing this, by sort of talking aloud and helping them to sort of make sense of what's going on in their head, we're also giving a sense of empathy, that we're trying to sort of put ourselves in their shoes. We're trying to think, okay, what is going on for you? This is something that we often do very naturally with really young children, maybe babies. So if you think about those scenarios where, someone's holding a baby who might be a little bit distressed, a bit disgruntled, and we might say something along the lines of, oh my goodness, somebody doesn't look very happy. I wonder if you're thinking about wanting some milk now. So that's something that we would do naturally, that is giving the child a sense that we are trying to make sense of what's going on for them. They can see that they are alive in our thoughts, okay? And they're in doing this, it orders their thinking about their own world and about themselves. So all we're doing now is we're thinking about doing this for children at slightly older ages and into adolescence, who obviously have a little bit more awareness of their own thoughts and feelings, but we're still giving them that sense that they're seen and they're heard by us. We're empathizing with them, maintaining a sense of curiosity and wondering what is going on for you. And we're helping them at times when their own thoughts and feelings might feel a little bit jumbled, to order that a little bit. Sometimes I like to think about that analogy of the unraveling the ball of wool. If you imagine that there's a jumbled up lot of wool inside the young person's head, and you're trying to tease that out and get that into a nice ordered sense so that it makes sense, that it feels a bit more coherent. We're not necessarily trying to fix the problems or make them go away, but we're helping the young person to make sense of what's going on inside their heads a little bit. So, and we can do this in situations where we feel actually the words that the child is saying are not completely in keeping with the thoughts that they might be thinking. And it's helpful to think in these situations, okay, I'm going to imagine there's a thought bubble coming outside of the child's head right now, and I'm going to respond to that as well as the words that they're actually saying. For example, if a child says something along the lines of, I hate you. Okay, so those are the words, I hate you, and we might be tempted to say something like, oh, that's not very nice. I don't hate you, I love you, perhaps. But if we step back, we might think, actually, when they say that, what are they actually saying? Are they saying, I'm actually really disappointed, I was looking forward to going out later, and you've just said that we can't go out, even though I do know that it's raining and that's the reason, but I'm really feeling angry about this because I was so much looking forward to it. Those might be the actual thoughts. So rather than responding to the I hate you, what we're doing is we're allowing the child to sort of make sense of this jumble that is actually going on for them. So if we're hearing that, I hate you, and if that was the situation, we might say, oh man, I think you are really feeling disappointed that you were hoping that we were going to go out later. It is raining and we can't do that, but then it still is really hard because you were so looking forward to it and you still feel so disappointed and kind of angry right now as well. Okay, so that's an example of what we're doing is we're not trying to sort of solve it. We're trying to think, okay, what is the jumble and what can I say that helps that jumble a little bit? Another example might be a child who says, everything here is rubbish, maybe. So we might be tempted again to say, well, there's lots of things that you like here. You like doing drawing, you like going on the PlayStation, perhaps, but actually if we're thinking, okay, what is going on? Why is the child saying everything is rubbish? They might be feeling overwhelmed by frustration, that they were trying to put their socks on and the socks weren't going on straight, or something happened on the PlayStation game and they didn't manage to get up to the level that they wanted. So when we're hearing those words, we can think, okay, what is potentially the thought bubble? And I can respond to that. I can help them to make sense of that jumble. So again, if they're saying everything is rubbish, we might say, oh man, I think you feel so frustrated right now. I can see that you were really, really trying with those socks and it just hasn't worked out. And that is so annoying. So maybe you feel a little bit overwhelmed with frustration. We're remaining regulated ourselves, but we're empathizing with what's going on for them. And we're helping them to unpick and to make sense of what's going on for them. We can do it when we see children just engaged in a behavior without saying any words as well. If we imagine a scenario where a parent or a member of staff in school even is with one child, maybe hearing them read perhaps, and another child is wanting to come up and interrupting a lot of times. And we might go straight into, come on, it's not your turn, you've got to wait, which may well be true. And also we might get a sense of, okay, in this particular scenario, and this wouldn't be the case for all of those situations, but in this scenario, maybe the child is feeling a little bit insecure, and the fact that we're giving so much attention to one child means that we're not caring about them anymore. So if that's what's actually going on for the child, if that's what their behaviour is actually communicating to us, it's a little bit different in terms of what we want to say, because it's not really about waiting your turn if that's the difficulty that they've got right there. So we might just literally just say those things that we might not ordinarily just say out loud. We might say, I wonder if you're just noticing that I'm doing some work with Emily right now, or I'm hearing Emily read, and you really want to have some attention, you really want to sort of spend some time with me, and that's lovely. And I still care about you, even when I'm doing my reading with Emily. So what I would love is for you to find a book, and in 15 minutes time, I'm going to come and hear you read. I love you all the time, even when I'm working with Emily. So there, and obviously this is not a quick fix, and this is not a way to quickly stop behaviours or troubling thoughts, which is tempting to want to do. But we're thinking that over time, what we're trying to do is we're trying to help this developing human being start to make sense of their thoughts and feelings, so that they develop slowly a gradual increasing self-regulation and self-awareness. And we're also giving them that experience of us empathizing with them as we go along. Okay. Another scenario might be perhaps maybe there was something that we were going to go out for. Maybe if it's in school, it's getting ready to go out to playtime, or maybe at home it's maybe going out to go to swimming lessons, and a child is perhaps stalling a lot and really sort of like taking ages to leave the house. And we might be tempted to just address that head on. Come on, you really need to hurry up. But actually, maybe, and this wouldn't be all the situations, but if we think something else is going on for the child, like they're actually quite nervous about going, so they're finding it difficult to leave the house, and they, maybe without sort of consciously planning to, they're coming up with lots of reasons to prevent this, we can just say that out loud in a way that we might not normally think of doing. We might say, I wonder if actually you're feeling a little bit nervous about leaving. And sometimes when that happens, you want to just see if there's a way that you can stay for a little bit longer. That's understandable. It's okay to feel nervous. Okay. Did you notice in some of the examples there, I use the term I wonder quite a lot? And that is really helpful. It feels less demanding than actually just making a statement to somebody about you. This is what you think. We don't know. Or asking the direct question, are you feeling nervous? Which is often responded to with just no, or I don't know. But it gives us a way to sort of have those conversations about someone's thoughts and feelings when we don't know, and even without the child having to respond directly to us. I just wonder if you're feeling like that. That's okay. We can keep it very light, keep it quite playful. We don't need to know the answers. We're staying regulated ourselves, we're keeping light, but we're just letting them know that, thoughts and feelings are funny ones, and we can wonder about those, and that's okay. Okay, so that's what we mean by thinking aloud, helping the young person to make sense of their thoughts and feelings in the moment.